Hey, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to start doing the wiring on the drag car, so come along. Yeah, so it's time for everybody's favorite thing. I personally like doing this kind of stuff, but I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. But we have an electronics package for the car. So we can kind of go through some stuff. There is a couple things that are missing yet, and we'll go through that here in a second. But brains of the situation. Nexus Haltech Nexus R3. This is a vehicle control unit. It has a built-in 4-channel PDM. The R5 is like the 16-channel. So we basically need this to run a couple things. We'll talk about that later. And then the engine management side, we have their flying lead harness. I mostly just did this for ease of install. There's a lot of wires in here that aren't going to get used. In the name of trying to get this car done faster, building a whole super custom harness would have taken me a little bit longer than I probably would want, but not the end of the world. Version 2 will have that. We got some wire in case we need it. We got some heat shrink. We got some crimp connectors. We got some closed barrel connectors. Sensors. We got Rife turbo back pressure sensor. This is the Bosch T-map, so temperature and pressure. And then we have a Bosch fluid temperature and pressure sensor. We're using 2 of these. One for oil, one for coolant. Bosch recently changed the sensor to not be compatible with coolant, but a couple people that I know in the motorsports side of things say that it's fine, so I'm not going to worry about it. Got a wideband, we got some connectors. I'm still waiting for some to show up from iWire. And then we got a bulkhead connector, and then a Rife sensor block. This is going to be for crankcase pressure and fuel pressure. And the flex fuel sensor is already in the car. So ideally what I want to do today is kind of get the ECU in the car, see kind of where it sits, and then start running the wire harnesses through. I've got a base map on the laptop that has like all the inputs and outputs selected, so I can actually kind of start pulling the wires to their spots that they need to be. We're not really going to do any of the wiring today. We're just going to kind of get it all spaghettied out, I guess you could say, and then yeah, we should be pretty good. So we'll get going on this here and see what we can figure out. So I think one of the first things I want to do is find a spot for this guy. Kind of thinking like maybe right in here. I'm gonna put the wiring harness through right there. Maybe somewhere on the floor up here would actually be a little bit smarter. Yeah, honestly, I think that's probably the ticket right there. So let's get the wiring harness plugged in and start figuring out where we're running all the wires to. Hold on. Yep. That should be everything, Jason. Just slowly bring it in. Oh wait, yeah, there's one more connector here. Just pull it into like where the ECU is. So now there's going to be a fair amount of back and forth here because what I want to do is find the AVI or SPI for each sensor and kind of get them in the general ballpark of where they need to go. We're not going to cut any wires or do anything like that. It's like these ones, one of these is a fuel pump, one of them is going to be for the radiator fan. So like, cool. These are some more SPIs. Okay. So most of this stuff is going to come down and go over. What I kind of want to do is unpin some of the injectors and unpin some of the coils and take them out. You can always put them in later because like you can repurpose, like this is set up for 8 cylinders, so I can repurpose these as like a ground side trigger. But I've got the whole harness pretty much all set up. So I think that's what I'm gonna do is just declutter some of the wires here. So I'll turn you guys off and get them pulled out and then we'll pick back up with you guys. Okay, so the idea is, at least what I'm thinking so far, we're gonna zip tie some of this up. We're gonna kind of just slowly work our way over. I don't need this other knock sensor, so let's put that through. I pulled all the extra wires out for the coils and the fuel injectors. We need to put wires back in for the pedal position sensor, the intercooler pump, the DCCD controller, so all those kind of need to go in, so I think that's what we'll do now. Okay, you want to grab these 6 wires. It should be 2 black, 2 orange, and then like 2 whitish colored ones. Yep, pull them through. And make a little tape label, wrap it around all 6 of these wires, and put AVI 8/9, and then put pedal. And then you can make another one that says HBO3 and put pump. And then you'll make one that's DPO2, and you'll write it called diff controller. Which, you know, I can pull these out right away because these are going to be driving the throttle body motor. So they're not going to come this way anyway, they're going to shoot over. You want to, here, I'll slit it. You want to write SPI 5? SPI? Yeah, synced pulse input. We're almost done, Jason. I'm not sure if it looks better than when we started or worse. Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's it is what it is, you know. Well, I know it looks awful, but I'm pretty sure all these I can take out of the harness. Most of these are 5 volts and grounds for sensors and everything like that, or there's a couple 12 volts. I mean, I'm going to go through it all before I verify that. We got the 2 big amps for the fuel pump and the radiator. But yeah, we kind of just did a rough layout, you know. We still got to lay out the coils and the injectors, but I don't really want to deal with that because they're kind of bundled together. But the idea is it's going to come down, hug the frame rail, come over underneath here for the coolant temp, coolant pressure, oil temp, oil pressure, drive-by-wire. And then we got one of the wires. I zip tied our T-map sensor over our flex fuel here.
Can't mix that.
No, that would be bad. Here's flex fuel. Okay, flex fuel. So then, yeah, we got our, this is a Bosch T-map sensor, so it reads pressure and temperature. I'm probably gonna have to grind off this beautiful powder coat and weld a fitting on right here. So that's gonna go right there. And then we got, these are gonna run up the pitch mount over to our Rife sensor block. So this has got our fuel pressure and our crankcase pressure, which is gonna mount like, probably like right about here. So all the wiring is, well, it's roughly laid out. So now it's gonna be, I'm gonna take the downpipe off and we're gonna clean up the wiring in here because they're kind of all jumbled in with each other. So there's really no reason to have it like that. And then we can kind of work on getting the rest of the stuff all dialed in. And once that's all done, we'll put the bulkhead connector in and we'll start like sheathing it and labeling it and doing all that kind of stuff. It looks messy, I get it, but it won't be for long. But that's actually where we're gonna leave this episode. So if you guys are looking forward to more Drag WRX content, make sure you subscribe and we'll see you guys next time.